Hi, this is the Dan and Dave Mindset. I'm Dan.
How you doing? I'm Dave.
So, Dave.
What's on your mind?
Hey, that's pretty good.
No, seriously though, I was in Meyer the other day, and
Is this the story you were going to tell me Thursday? You said you had something. All right, go ahead. You
I
walked
don't
into
recall.
Meyer the other day. What?
I don't recall. Not that I have anything against.
Oh, I got. Oof.
Yeah, I don't know how to put this. I just have to put it the way I'm going to put it. There was this very large lady.
Oh.
On a, what do you call him? A critter? Scooter?
A critter.
I'm sorry.
I think it's
Scooter?
a rascal.
Rascal. Rascal. I'm sorry.
Critter.
It's critter, scooter, scatter, rascal, whatever. Anyway, very large. And I'm thinking.
I don't know what they're called at the store. You think what?
So I'm thinking.
I still have a cold, by the way.
Yeah. So I'm thinking this might not be the best thing for her. Maybe what she needs to do is walk.
I mean, are you?
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm being serious.
Well,
I mean, no, like some of these people that are very, very big. Or not, because I've seen people in there that are seriously, very, very thin, and I don't know. Should they have like a?
You mean like thin people going around shopping, picking up lettuce and carrots and yogurt?
Riding a scooter?
Oh, riding the scooter?
That's what I'm talking.
Without a cast or something?
Yeah, it's like maybe don't you think they should have like a?
I see these high schoolers on them sometimes. They got the big cast on their leg or whatever.
Well, even that. I mean, come on, you can't wear you can't hop on a crutch.
And then maneuver.
I mean, give
maneuver
it
a cart.
Give it to the old people. Give it to the old people who
There's
have.
usually plenty of them.
Every time I go, there's like two.
Two unused ones.
No, two.
But you've seen them. They're in use in the store, or they're two waiting at the door.
There's two.
Being what? Sitting there?
There's two.
Two rascals.
They're either used or they're sitting there, but there's two.
Well, how do you? All right. So you do like a whole circuit of the store, check and count them real quick, and make sure that.
Yes, that is what I do.
You're like,
No,
that's one. All
right, fine. What I'm saying is, like a kid, who has like you're talking about with a cast or whatever.
Yeah.
Get on some crutches and walk around. I mean, leave that stuff for like, for the elderly who like, literally.
Or the morbidly obese.
See, that's where I feel bad. Okay, I feel.
I'm not against you here. I'm just trying to figure out what your mind is.
All right. I guess it's like maybe you need a like when you park in a handicap space, maybe you need to bring that ticket in to ride a scooter.
Okay.
All right. You need a license to ride that thing. You come in, the ladies in charge of the scooters. Where's your license?
Yeah.
Basic kind of thing. I mean, I'm not talking literal. Well, maybe I'm talking, but
I just don't feel like they really man those things. Like there's not like a person.
I know that. That's why I'm saying.
But you're saying maybe there should be.
I'm saying it bothers me because you see some people out there that are riding these things that obviously don't need them, or that shouldn't use them because it would benefit them better not to have them. Walking around that store, it might do you some good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My dad would he would go up and walk around the mall.
Because we're living in a society where what?
No, my dad would walk. I mean, my he's up there in years, and he would go and before his cancer and everything like that. And I don't think he still does it now. I haven't talked to him lately, but he would walk around the mall basically every day. He'd get up, he'd go up to the mall, and he'd walk around. That was his exercise.
There's a ton of those people. As an ex-mall employee.
No, but I've seen people.
Well, it's a good safe place. They're not going to slip on anything.
Exactly. I've seen people like in their 30s, 40s, blah blah blah, up and up and up and up. But I was talking about my dad, who that at the time that I recall him doing this was probably late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah.
Walking around the mall, and that's what he did. He would walk around the mall and keep in shape and stuff like that. My mom would just walk around the neighborhood, and that's what she did. She would just walk around and stuff like that. And there was times and they would walk around the neighborhood together and stuff like that to keep in shape.
Yeah,
so it's like these people that are very big or whatever. It's like, if you have a hard time walking around the neighborhood, at least while you're shopping
Yeah, it's even. It doesn't get harder at any point until you get more tired, but...
If you fall down, somebody's probably going to pick you up. I mean, what better place to... Seriously, what better place to fall than in a store where there's many, many people around, rather than in a neighborhood where...
You might be left for hours.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, I'm with you. Actually, no, it's totally reminded me of, like, earlier today, I was looking at the mall holiday hours. Today's Sunday.
Right.
And when I worked...
Which is not a holiday.
Right, but we're in the holiday season.
Right. Oh, so, yeah, right.
Right, so they
later,
have...
Right.
They're open earlier and later.
Right.
Yeah. When I worked in the mall, right, it was, off holiday season, it was 12 to 6 on Sundays, the mall was open. And now it's like 11 to 7 or something today. Like today it was 11 to 7. I was looking at this at 7:09, so I was thinking about going to Radio Shack and getting a microphone for us.
Right.
Because
of the blackout.
Because of the blackout, yeah. Because this is the same day. And I remember though getting so annoyed though. Like I'd go in to open the store. I'm in there at 11 o'clock. They open the store at noon, right? It takes about 15 minutes to actually get the store open. But like Schuler's has the coffee shop. It's open an hour earlier.
The place is huge.
What, Schuler's?
Yeah.
Schuler's.
That's
a big
the bookstore, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
They got a little cafe in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd go in, get a bagel and coffee or whatever, and talk to my buddy John, who's usually there. He's like 8 feet tall. Plays the bass like crazy.
Yeah. Is he black?
No.
Oh.
No, he's white.
That plays bass.
Unbelievable, right? No, yeah. It's just totally off. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, he's, yeah. Caucasian. So, I'd be in there when I was opening the store. I never, we had to wear. I worked at in a kiosk.
Right.
So
this is Verizon, right?
At Verizon, yeah. I worked at the Verizon kiosk. It's corporate owned. It's not a reseller or any of that crap. It's legitimate, and it's like working in a real store. It's not like working at a kiosk. Just selling,
stuff,
toys, helicopters or something. So, we wore, dress pants, dress shirts, ties.
Appropriate.
Yeah, professional dress or whatever, right? And so when I was opening, though, I didn't wear that stuff, because I wanted people to be aware that I was not working yet, if that meant anything to them.
Just setting it up, you mean?
Yeah, right, because it was, the mall opened at noon. It's
right.
like 11:25 or whatever. Right. And I'm still...
And there was people already walking around?
Yeah, I mean, they opened the doors at like 10 or something, maybe even earlier.
Oh,
they open it a couple of, like, the doors unlock.
Right, but nothing's officially open.
Nothing's open.
Right.
Every store around me has a gate down.
Right.
I don't have a gate. I don't have that luxury of having a gate.
So you're free.
I'm free in the open air.
Free bait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I've got, but what I do have are, little rotating accessory racks on the corners of some of my booths that have a big bag over them with a padlock on it.
It says, I'm not open.
Which suggests, and I never turned the lights on the thing until, 11:59, because I got things to do. I gotta do inventory.
Right.
I gotta bring stuff up. I gotta get money into the registers. And I would go out of my way to ignore people sometimes, right? But it didn't fail. Like almost every week, and almost every day that I opened that store, even the weekdays, because it would open earlier then too, and people would be in there. The mall walkers would be in there going around, right? And so, look, I mean, as a mall kiosk employee, I've got a little distaste for mall walkers. I appreciate why they're doing it. Mm-hmm. It's good for them. Don't mess with me, all right? Like, I'm busy.
I would assume they're not. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You assume what? What?
I don't know.
I assume nothing.
I guess I would assume they're not a mall walker if they're gonna take a pit stop.
They're trying to become shoppers early, is what's happening, right? And I'm like, no, you're still a mall walker.
I need a break. I need to stop at this kiosk.
Yeah, like, hey, they come up like all fast and everything. and then run up to my booth basically, and they're like, "Hey," and I'm like, 25, 50, 75. I'm trying to count, right?
I'm doing something here.
And so I start counting out loud sometimes. I'm like, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and they're like, "Hey, I just got in like 25, 26." And then I'm like, ah. And then I literally stood there and counted a whole row of dimes once while somebody stood there looking at me, like waiting for me to finish that.
Yeah.
And then they started asking me a question, and I quickly picked up the quarters and started counting them. And then I finished that, and I'd already done the paper money, unfortunately, so I couldn't start doing those. And they're like, "Hey, I just need to, I'm looking for a case." And I'm like, "Hey, I'm not open. Come on. Look at this. Is this... I want to be like, does this look like I'm open to you in any way? What? Why would I be open when all the stores around me are in cages right now?" I don't know. It was actually really frustrating.
I'm gonna have to say though, I've been in the mall where they would like open at like 9, but the stores didn't officially open until 10.
Yeah.
And I would fall for that though. I would think these people on the outside that are uncaged are fair game.
We have no protection.
I figured you were fair game. I gotta be honest. I'd be sitting up like, "Hey, I'm gonna take a look. Let's see what you got." Because I got time to waste. I got an hour before these stores open. I'm gonna take a look at you guys. I gotta be honest. I've done that.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you now. People would come up and browse the outside of my booth.
Did that bother you? I mean, is that okay though?
Deep down, it totally.
It's window shopping.
Right. Totally bothered me though, because I expected them to start bugging me.
Okay, gotcha.
But then if they didn't, then I appreciated them and sent good thoughts their way. Right. And I'm like, "You're okay. I'm sorry that I was pissed off a second ago."
Carry on. Go away.
I would. We had our big store. It was not huge, but we had our main store. The next block over.
All right. Yeah.
The district manager didn't like me. He treated me very poorly. For whatever. It's not like he whipped me or anything, but he did come up to me. We were in the when I first started there, I was in customer service. We had polo shirts that we wore, and it had 2 buttons on it. Maybe 3, because maybe I had like a top button like you would never wear on a polo, but like you would,
right.
I did I would do the bottom button, leave one open, let the collar spread in a normal way, and I'm in the back hallway of the store, and his name was Jody, and Jody walks up to me. I'm standing next to my buddy Matt. We're on we're not working yet, or we're on a break or something. We're not goofing around or anything. Jody stops me, and he's talking to me for a second. So I'm standing with my back to one of the walls of the hall, and he's across from me, looking at me, talking to me for a second, asking me something. And then he starts reaching up towards my neck. And I start backing away, and this is in my first 2 months. I was still kind of timid Dan, right? Because I was still new. And he's reaching up towards me, and I start subconsciously backing away until I hit my head on the wall, and I couldn't go anywhere, and he buttoned one of my buttons for me.
Wait.
Because I had one button done.
You let him.
I didn't know what to do. What's happening? Why is this man touching me? And he touched my shirt and buttoned it.
Well, you let him.
I didn't know what to do. All right, if he tried that a year in, I'd slap his hand, But I mean, I was very green.
Right. So he was correcting you, and you figured.
I figured I didn't know why he was not just asking me to button my button. I didn't know what he was trying to do in the first place, and I froze up a little bit. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what? And then and he buttoned my button. He's like, there. He's like, that's better, and he pats me on the shoulder. And then he walks away. What the heck just happened? I waited a few minutes and unbuttoned it again. Like, stay away from my clothes. So I don't know why I brought that up, but this story could go on and on. But all I wanted to point out was that I figured you'd come up with something to say while I was talking about this, but you're checking Facebook instead. So, all right, that's great. This just really fizzled out now. Let's go back. This is where I thought you were going with the whole Meijer thing with the carts.
Where you thought I was going?
This is where I thought you were going to go with it.
I don't know what that means. Okay.
I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
I'm prefacing this with this. This is what happens to me all the time, right? When I go to Meijer. Let's say Meijer, because it's where that's where I end up going. And if it's not like honestly, it's just so much more comfortable to go in there at like 2 a.m. and do your shopping, because then there's
nobody there.
There's nobody there, right? you go at like any other time during the day when normal people are awake,
especially this time of year.
Yeah, especially this time of year. You get in there and the people are just walking around like zombies, right? They're looking up at something, walking, and not paying attention, and they're walking slow. So, and you're like, I just need something at the end of that aisle, and that's so far away from where we are right now, and I'm never gonna get there with this person in front of me. So then you're like, okay, I'm gonna go around. You go around, and then their zombie instinct kicks in, and they start fading to the left. And then and they stay in front of you, and you can't get around them. And then as that happens, another zombie comes in on the other end and starts walking towards you with their cart, like, I was peanut butter. I was looking for there's another cereal out there. And then you could try to turn around, but at that point, the aisle's filled in with more zombies, and you're stuck in the middle. Your thoughts?
Actually, I was shopping today or yesterday, and there's this woman with her 2 kids. Don't bring your kids shopping. Don't bring your kids shopping.
At 2 a.m?
Anytime. I don't care when it is.
That's the entertainment.
At 2 a.m, if they're sleeping, that's fine. In the carriage, that's okay. So I'm sitting there, and it's like, first of all, the carriage itself takes up space. Okay? So automatically, when they're shopping, and somebody's like standing there in front of something you want,
yeah. Okay,
automatically the carriage is in front, and I don't have it in me to say,
excuse me.
Yeah, because automatically I say, can you get out of the freaking way? Please get out of the way. No, I don't do that. I can't even say excuse me, because even excuse me to me feels
hostile.
It feels rude.
Well,
not only that, but let's say, for instance, the other day when I was in the pizza aisle, okay, the frozen pizza.
All right, you just want a frozen pizza.
I wanted some pizza rolls. I just want some pizza rolls, and so this lady's pushing her cart. Like, is there anything less than a third of a mile an hour? Like how
a regular
slow,
human gait?
How can there isn't. Yeah, the gait she had going with her, the stride she had going.
She's was like heel to toe walking.
I'm like, where they don't have their hands on the hand the bar of the thing, but they have their elbows on it, so they're kind of leaning on it and they're kind of like shuffling along, like you know what I mean? Yeah. And so she's got that going on going across my window aisle, my window shopping. Okay, when I go pizza shopping, like anybody else, I'm window shopping. I'm strolling down. I'm looking at all the different.
Oh, so you're one of those people without an agenda at all.
Hey, I stay out of the way. I'm like, all right,
that's fair.
I'm window shopping, okay? I back up and I'm looking. I'm shuffling along. And so anybody comes along needs to get. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh.
What? You need this? Go ahead. Yeah. I'm just looking.
Are you trying to get the chicken that's on the other side? I'm just going to scooch over this way.
Go ahead. Yeah. And I don't have a cart. I got a basket.
Oh, you got a basket. Okay, yeah. Well, that's why I like those little carts.
Anyway.
Because you get something heavy and you happen to pick it out first, and then you're walking around half an hour.
Exactly. Well, I'll tow it around. I'll tow it around a gallon of milk.
It's 2 pounds, whatever.
Anyway, so she's doing her thing, and I'm like,
I like the basket.
I'm like, you get into the motion where you're like trying to dodge. You're like, maybe I should go this way, maybe I should go that way, maybe I should go, you know what I mean? Where she's kind of like, I'm trying to jump in front of her, trying to jump back, and then she's got the two kids, like linemen, like blocking for her, and I'm like,
that's a sports reference, right?
So the kids are like, the kids are amusing themselves. So they're like climbing on the glass, trying to be like spiders, like trying to use their hands as like these suckler.
Your face you're making right now.
Suckle things.
Fantastic.
And they're like climbing all over the grass. So I need to get in there. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna say get your kid out of the way. I just don't have it in me to do that. Now there's many people that will, but I don't.
Well, look, what happens to me, why I can't do it, is because I'm already so pissed off that they're in my way that I can't articulate the words, excuse me, in a friendly manner.
And you leave.
No, I look at something else and I wait until, like I'm interested in those things until they move along.
You fake like you're texting somebody, don't you?
I don't do that, because then then I end up in somebody's way.
I have seriously
I pick up a box and I'm like, oh, this might be good.
I have seriously sat there many times and faked the text. Just waiting for these people to get out of my way. I'm serious. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And because I don't have... I'm not going to say I don't have the balls. I don't have the appropriate communication skills to get these people out of my way. It's like, tell your freaky kids to calm down. I need to get in that door.
When did this happen?
Yesterday.
Because I'm like, this is very specific.
I'm serious. I'm like, please.
Yeah, it's a problem. There's no, look, I mean, okay, when I'm going through, look, sometimes I go in and I know exactly what I'm going to go get, right? And I go to get those things, and of course I'm waylaid by people that are just in my way, right? And so when I do go in and I have no idea what I want, I'm very conscious of the fact that those people irritate the crap out of me. And so I try to do everything I can not to become one of them. And so I pay attention to my surroundings.
Right. I'm the same way. Same way.
Like, oh, there's people that know what they're looking for and need to get where I am. And I move. They don't need to say excuse me to me because I'm going to move for them. I'm going to figure out what they're looking for and be like, there. Yeah,
no, but I'm like when I go to a store,
yeah,
I basically know what I'm getting until I get into certain areas where I need to browse a bit because I want a pizza. I don't know what kind of pizza I'm in the mood for.
Yeah, sometimes there's a sale going on.
That's right. What's on
that leads you to a pizza you don't always get.
What is on sale today?
Right.
Chips. I like a lot of chips.
Me? Big chip fan?
I love chips. But do I want chips today or do I want Totitos? Do I want tortillas? Do I want... You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, and the sale is always a big...
The sale's important.
That's the hook.
I mean, that's why they do it. Because they want it,
That's why they do what?
I don't know. Give us a better deal, I guess. I don't know.
Anyway, yeah.
I appreciate it. I'm like, thank you, store, for...
No, but do you have these people that sit there and they read every...
I appreciate the 25 cents that you saved me.
They read every ingredient in the friggin' product. Okay? Hey, do this for me. Take the product, whatever you're getting, the chips, whatever, take it and take a step back. You want to read that? Take a step back and take a seat.
It's one thing you got to...
Let everybody else... Instead of sitting there like blocking the whole.
Well, because you got your whole cart. That's 2 to 3 people's width.
Right.
And
you're sitting there reading the whole thing, reading everything. Take a step back.
If you want to sit there and read a product, no problem. But just continue to examine your surroundings and notice if somebody is coming up to that area and if they're looking at the stuff you're blocking off.
I'm a considerate shopper.
I feel that I am as well. Every now and then, once in a blue moon, I find myself tired or something.
I'm very rarely curious of what's in my product, whatever I'm buying. If I am, I will sit there and pick it up and I will step back and leave the area open.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the aisles are only so
or if I'm
wide,
sitting there and I can't decide what I'm going to buy, and I see somebody, out of the pearls.
Exactly. You move. You're like,
hey,
or hey, do you need to get in here?
Hey, somebody's coming. Hey.
Yeah. You can even say it, like, you need to get in here?
Right. Hey.
I've said that.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Be like, oh.
Right, my bad.
Allow me. I'm just taking my sweet old time right now, so.
No, although another thing that bothers me.
Yeah.
Is when I'm doing that, is when somebody comes up. Like, I was, again, yesterday.
Yeah.
I was looking for cheese. Because I wanted to get some shredded cheese because I was buying some tortillas, chips.
You're going to make nachos or something.
Tortilla chips.
Yeah.
And I got some...
What'd you get, cheddar?
Hang on. I'm getting there. So so I got the chips, and I got the salsa, and I'm thinking, what kind of cheese do I want with this? Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and I'm stepping back. Every once in a while, I dip in and take a look at what kind of cheese I want, and, do I want this one? I'm serious.
Yeah. End caps are a good spot to hang out and read something, because people don't normally need much of that, and there's not much there.
Right, but anyway, I'm not there. I'm in the shredded cheese area.
But that's like that's around the aisles, right?
Right.
So you can kind of back off to an end cap.
Right, that's what I was doing.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Right, that's what I was doing. So I'm like, I go in for a second, I go back, I'm thinking. I'm thinking. Do I want this? Because cheese.
Cheese.
Yeah, think about it. Yes. There's certain anyway.
I'm with you.
The guy, the guy that works there is like, can I, you need a hand with anything? I'm like, no, I'm just looking.
Uh-huh.
It's like, what? He's a Spanish guy. No, I'm just looking. I can't.
Like he was from Spain?
Or Puerto Rico. I'm gonna say Puerto Rico. So I'm like, no, I'm just looking.
So he's Puerto Rican. I don't think you can say that.
That's right. So I'm sitting there, he backs off, and because you got your sharp cheddar, your mild cheddar, you got your Mexican mix, you got this, you got, what I mean?
That's a good mix. 3 cheeses in one bag.
Right. You got all these different things, and I'm thinking, what do I want?
Seasonings
what
now.
do I want to sprinkle on my
tortilla
chips with my salsa? Mm-hmm. Because sometimes you want that sharpness.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you don't.
Love the
sometimes you just want some mozzarella.
What? No. What?
Yeah, sometimes.
No, you don't.
Yeah, sometimes
no, you don't.
Sometimes.
No.
Sometimes I want the plainness of a mozzarella sprinkled on there.
You put mozzarella cheese on on tortilla chips?
Yeah.
How many times have you ever done that in your life?
Twice.
Did you ever feel like that was a huge mistake?
It wasn't as appetizing as I thought it was going to be, but hey.
But then later you were like, maybe I was wrong that one time.
The consistency was very nice.
Yeah, but
and it worked. Because with the salsa on top of it, it worked out very nice. Anyway.
All right.
So, but you have the mixes, and something that's recently has been entertaining to me, or is Cheddar Jack. Cheddar Jack?
Monterey Jack?
Monterey Jack.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, maybe I should try this. Mm-hmm. He comes around again. He's like, I'm like, dude.
Same dude?
Yeah. I'm like,
How long were you standing there?
It wasn't long. That's the
20
thing.
minutes?
It wasn't long. That's what I'm talking about. It wasn't long. It was like 3 minutes. I'm like, dude.
That's pretty long.
3 minets?
He's like, dude, go help this guy. You need some help here. I don't know. It's been there for a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Anyway.
So what'd you end up getting?
Hang on.
All right.
So I'm still sitting there because I'm bouncing around, not only because of the different blends they have or whatever, but also the different prices. Because you got your regular Meyer brand, then you got the Stelero or whatever.
Stelero?
Whatever. I don't know what it is.
You just made that up.
Whatever. There's a few different brands. So I'm bouncing around. He comes up again.
Oh, no, you mean the brands, right? Yeah, that's, hold on, I know exactly. Sargento is what you're thinking of.
Yes.
They've got the artisan mixes now, which are
so
very
he comes
tasty.
up again.
Yeah.
He's like, sir, are you sure there's nothing I can, give you a hand? I'm like, serious, man. I'm like indecisive. I'm just trying to figure it out. He's like, well, you could ask me. I'm here at 7 days a week.
Did he call himself a cheese whiz? That would be really funny.
Basically. He's like, I'm here 7 days a week. I know all the cheeses. You just asked me, and I know them all. Anyway.
He's a dairy
connoisseur.
I just...
Anyway, it was... I appreciate his trying to be nice, but it was a bit much. But, yeah. Anyway, that's just for cheese.
We were talking about what happened when I got into the shampoo aisle.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, do I want something that's going to make it bounce? Or,
yeah, these guys are only around to shove, like...
cheese down your throat.
Cheese and meat and fruit.
I don't know. I felt like I had something to add to this at one point, but this has gone to a different place than I expected it. I appreciate that.
But have you ever noticed, and I'm sure you have, this is another pet peeve of mine at the grocery store or anywhere, is when people decide to, like, you drive through a parking lot and they have stop signs.
Yeah, I
for
ignore those.
Pedestrian crossway.
Yeah,
and that's fine. That's cool with me. But when people decide to cross diagonally,
over all the spaces,
like what spaces?
The parking spaces.
No, we're talking like the general roadway.
I mean, like they were kind of like parked up by the building, and then they're just popping out.
All right, let me start.
Yeah, start over. I don't know what you're talking about.
The front of a building. Let's say the front of a building, any building, Meijer, Walmart, whatever.
All right.
You have the general roadway. That's right in front of the building.
And they got like the lines there with. Are there lines I need to worry about here?
There's stop signs. Basically, you have the roadway.
Okay.
Okay, so, and they have stop signs.
There's
here
a
and
road
there, here and there,
between the building and all the parking spaces.
Right.
Yeah.
So from the parking spaces...
One might call it an avenue, even.
From the parking spaces...
You're like, no.
To the store, there is the general roadway. Okay? And, alright, so say you... I don't know how to... but you have some people that come out from...
Yeah.
You stop at a stop sign. And you let people go.
Yeah.
But then you have the people that decide to walk outside of the stop sign.
I know exactly what you mean.
And they don't walk straight across.
No,
but they walk diagonally.
Yes, I hate that.
They walk very, 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 very slow.
Right.
It's like,
yeah.
Can't you just like give yourself a little jaunt and get out of my way, or actually like walk the walkway you're supposed to walk?
Yeah, walk straight across.
Straight across.
Yeah. Yes. If you want to get, if you're
You want to get from A to B, it's a straight line. The fastest way from here to there.
Right, but for them, B is diagonally across. Like, okay, let's say it's like two entrances.
And they look at you like you're a jerk.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, I'm walking here. What? Yeah.
I hate it.
Yes. That drives me way more berserk than it should, probably.
And there's certain people that just don't know how to walk correctly.
It's
you know, they got that drag leg. You know what I'm talking about.
Like that dead leg that just hangs there and they drag it
that...
I don't think I've seen that, actually, but...
Okay, I'll show you.
Alright, here's what he's doing. He's walking. His right foot's moving fine. Left foot's dragging. This is pretty much what I pictured, actually. I still haven't really ever seen that much, but...
Yeah, you have.
Anyway, it boils down to it's inconsiderate.
Yeah, it is.
This is, speaking of, in what?
But these people think it's their right to hold you up, because they're a pedestrian.
I guess. I mean, look, as a pedestrian, as somebody who's been a pedestrian many times... I consider the bulk of the vehicle and the potential speed that it has, right? When I'm crossing somewhere...
Get out of the way.
And I'm like, you can go. You're capable of killing me pretty easily. I got time to wait for not dying. Right? So I'm like, I'm very polite to vehicles. Like, you go. You go.
Like, when when I'm in the Philippines...
Yeah.
They're very much pedestrian ruled.
Are they? Yeah.
Because there's so many.
Because more people are pedestrians.
There's so many more pedestrians, but still, you'll get hit, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're being a stupid pedestrian, they will hit you. Just as much as a motorcycle there. If you're riding a motorcycle and you try and be as cocky as a motorcycle driver here, you'll get hit.
Yeah.
It happened to me. And I wasn't trying to be cocky. It's just like, it's common sense courtesy. Courtesy.
Well, all right. Like my friend Alexandra was talking about, she was in Paris. There's a lot of people on bicycles there, right? And they have bike lanes that people ride their bikes in.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a pedestrian and you get into the bike lane, they will run you over.
Really?
Yeah. She's like, don't go into the bike lane if you're walking along, because they're just going to keep going. And you're not supposed to be there.
Wow.
And they'll hit you and keep going.
I've seen people in the Philippines. I've seen people get hit, not like literally boom, but like
bump them a little bit.
Yeah. Bump,
open their door, be like,
yeah. No. I've seen taxi drivers bump people. Like, get out of the way. What are you, stupid?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well,
and the people that are walking put their hands up like, sorry, and they get out of the way. In America, they'd fall down, break their neck, and sue you for everything you got.
Yeah. It's a different world. All right. Yeah. No. Okay. So back to America. What I don't know what exactly bothers me about this so much, but the carts, right? Back out in the parking lot.
Mm.
There's ample opportunities to drop your cart off somewhere in the parking lot nearby where you parked.
Right.
So that the poor little schmo that's got to come back and pick those up can just get them from that one spot and take them back.
Uh-huh.
But you go out there, and they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And there was like man,
That's job security, though.
it is, but at the same time, it's like there was this one year it snowed like crazy, and it was actually kind of difficult to move the carts around, right?
Oh, yeah.
And when they're full of stuff,
With
a little easier when they're
with the snow and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's slushy and everything, and so people would leave the carts everywhere. You think it's difficult for you to move this one cart?
Try 20 of them.
Try. You got to go all over the parking lot and move them around, and then stack them all up and move 20 at a time through this slush that you can't move your cart with 2 bags in it through. And so you're thinking, well, this is too much effort. I'm just going to leave it here where I'm about to leave my parking spot. And then, so one night, this is a couple months ago, I'm at Meijer, and this lady is parked right next to the cart corral.
Mm-hmm.
She emptied her cart out, and she had an empty spot next to her. So it was the cart corral, her car, and then the next spot was empty. She left her cart in that empty spot. And then I was parked, there was another car, and then I was parked there. So I backed my car out, parked behind her so she couldn't leave, and then grabbed my cart and the cart that she left and put it in the cart corral while she had to wait. That was a little justice that I could pull off there. What's going on Facebook now? Is that interesting?
Yeah.
Is it? What's happening?
I already showed you.
When?
Those pictures of my grandson.
All right. I just totally tuned out on me.
I was listening.
And then you left me holding the bag. I that's it. I already did the build up and everything. I parked behind her so she couldn't leave while I moved her cart and put it where it belonged. You have no comment though. It was a good story. And it was short.
Those people get paid.
I don't care, man. That's good for them. I'm glad they get paid. I'm very happy they get paid. But we as a people need to move our carts to the appropriate places. We have spots everywhere. All right, your turn. What's going on with Angelo?
Angelo is awesome.
He's a cute little baby.
Yeah, he is. Well, not much. He's not much of a baby anymore, but he's still a baby.
Come on, he's not even...
He'll be a year.
Yeah, right. He's not even a year old. He's still a baby.
In February. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He looks exactly like his mother, which is... I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, that's good. She got some good genes. All right. Well, what do you want to talk about?
Oh yeah, it was funny actually. 'Cause I was at church. It made me think of you. That's why.
Ah.
There's a girl at church, and
Wow.
she's from the Ukraine.
Hmm.
Very heavy accent.
Mm-hmm.
She speaks very well English, though. But she brought a friend of hers who was actually from Iran, and he speaks the language that is spoken there. I'm not sure what it is.
Iranian?
I don't know if it's Iranian or because
I don't know if it's
I heard I heard Arabic mentioned, so I'm not sure if that's the language.
Pretty sure Iranian is not a language.
Okay, so maybe it's Arabic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he came and he doesn't speak. As far as I know, he uttered a few English words, but
What is the bathroom?
Steve Bush introduced me to him and blah 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 and
What's the name?
the guy's name.
Yeah. It's not Boris, right?
No, it's like Irash. She. It's very hard. Anyway, we're sitting there talking and my friend would lead over to him every once in a while, and just sort of interpret and stuff like that, and introduced him to everybody, and every once in a while they would go back and forth and conversate
While everything else was going on.
Yeah, very quietly.
It was just,
And
long enough for him to get the point of what was going on, at least.
right, yeah. And
Gotcha.
And then another friend of mine, and somebody else in church, basically sat there and said, "Well, how is this?" Just asking them questions like, "How are things in Iran in certain situations, whatever." So they started going back and forth in Russian.
Yeah.
She's Ukrainian, but she knows Russian, obviously.
And he knows Russian.
Actually, I shouldn't say obviously, because it's
Yeah.
probably not, I don't know if it's the same. Anyway,
It might be obvious.
but he knows Russian,
yeah.
so that's how they conversated, and they were sitting there going back and forth, and
Conversed.
huh?
That's how they conversed.
What did I say?
You said conversated.
Whatever. That's how they conversed. This is how they conversed.
Uh-huh.
And I was sitting there, and I looked over to Steve. I was like, I wish they, because somebody tried to sort of impersonate the accent that they had. I'm like, I wish Dan was here, because he has the best Russian accent. Anyway, so
You think I could have done it?
yeah. Oh yeah. It was yeah. It was great because the funny thing is that somebody else that was there tried to be funny and do the Russian
Who was it?
accent, and it came out like Italian, which is hilarious because I remember the other night when we were somewhere and
What, doing karaoke?
yeah, and somebody was there that was Spanish, right, or something.
I don't know, yeah.
And you started trying to speak in Spanish. I said, that's a Russian accent.
Yeah, so he comes out very Russian. Yeah, my Russian accent isn't even what it used to be either.
I still think it's great.
I appreciate that.
So, speak.
Well, okay. Well, my my buddy Adi and I used to have long conversations in Russian accents, and he would I'd call him up or whatever, and he'd answer the phone. He's like, "Hello, God," and I'm like, "The football is in the air," and he'd be like, "The roosters have stopped crowing," and and we'd do code phrases back and forth for the first couple of minutes, and then we'd have an entire we talk. You remember when you were younger, you used to spend a lot more time on the phone. Was that ever? Yeah, right.
Of course.
I don't do it. I hate it now. I don't want to be on the phone for a long time anymore.
Well, because it's all texting now.
And I don't even like that much anymore. I'm like, just get to the point. What's going on? Wish. It's like before you could drive, so you couldn't just go talk to somebody if you wanted to, right? So you're on the phone. We'd talk for an hour or 2 hours, and then Is that too long?
On the
Half
phone?
an hour, maybe 45 minutes.
With a man?
Sometimes it's a girl. I don't know, whatever. I had a girl that I talked to very regularly on the phone. And so it's totally cool.
Usually, if I'm on the phone with a man, we
were not men though. We were boys, basically.
Yeah, right. Early, as I was saying, earlier in life, well, even earlier in life, I was on the phone with a friend as a guy. I'd be like, "All right, what are we doing? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll see you later."
Well, we lived remotely from one another, so like I lived over a half an hour away from him, via car. That's like.
On the other hand, if I'm on the phone with you, forget about it.
What? We don't talk like more than 2 seconds. Do we?
Only because I end it.
I would end it. I don't want to talk to you anyway. So what? Oh, so this is better.
Just face it. You don't know how to end a conversation. We've already discussed this.
I know. I can't. I can end conversations if.
And I admire it, and I like you. You even said it yourself that it's a curse.
It is, all right.
Not a bad curse.
It's sort of a bad. It can be. Here's the thing. Like, what do you mean not a bad? Curses are bad.
Well, no. Well, I look at it as like I.
You think it's a gift?
I do.
Yeah.
I don't have that. And we've talked about this many times. Where you admire me for being able to walk away, I admire you for being able to hold a conversation.
You walk away mid sentence. You're like, all right, well, bye. Well, and I'm like, that's so cool.
But you sit there and you just.
Yeah, but I get trapped is the problem. Look,
no, you do not get trapped. You trap yourself. I've seen it.
I'm aware of how it looks. It's a variety. But look, if the other participant isn't also willingly trying to get out of the conversation with me,
I've seen him try to close the door.
Close the figurative door. Yes, I haven't put my foot in any doors. I'm like, wait. I have done that with certain close friends as a joke.
That is true. Yes.
That I've done that.
Yes.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
As a joke. Yes.
As a joke.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, fine. I mean, there are certain people I enjoy talking to, and I don't care how long the conversation goes. Random strangers, though, I'll end up talking to them for forever too.
Which to me is a gift because I can't sit there and keep up a conversation, even though I'd like this is an interesting person. I'd love to keep this conversation going.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to do that. I don't have that. I seriously consider it a gift.
It's just all it is.
And you consider it sometimes a curse because you can't walk away.
Right, because look. This is the thing that it is about me. This is all it is. It's not a gift. It's just that I'm actively interested in other people. I'm interested in what's going on with them, even if I don't know them. Because they might tell me something interesting.
Wait, but still, the thing is, I could be. I'm interested in people. As I just said, preceding this, what you just said, I definitely am interested in people.
Well, then
I just don't know how to initiate an ongoing conversation. Where you do, you have that.
Well, you ask a follow-up question.
See, I don't have. As simple as it might sound to you, it's very difficult for me.
I mean, it doesn't. I don't know. Part of the thing I figured out over the last couple of years is that, like, if I'm not careful, I'll end up talking about stuff that's interesting only to me, and I'll go on and on about it.
Right.
And then people are like, and I don't notice that they're not as engaged by it than I am.
See, and I'm the opposite. Like, I always sit there.
You assume that they're not interested.
No, I always feel like I am so much initiating a conversation that it's like they're
I'm doing all the work here.
Yeah, and that's not a conversation.
Right.
It's like, well, how about this? What about that? What about you? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm just sitting here and they're like just answering my questions. Yeah. It's not a conversation. It's an interview. You know?
Yeah.
I don't like that. When I see you interact with people, it's more of you don't sit there and ask them questions. They don't ask you questions.
We just talk.
Right. And I don't. Right. You have it's a banter and not in a non-personal way, but it's I don't know how to explain it. But it's brilliant. I love it. Right. I wish I had it, and I don't.
Well, okay, but it's a double-edged sword, right?
Right. Where you sit there and I sit there and I'm like, I'm done. See you later.
Yeah, and then I'm like,
because there are times when I'm like,
and then I grab your sleeve and I'm like, take me with you. You yank it out of my hand.
There's those times when I'm sitting there, we're standing outside, and I'm in the conversation with you, and you know what I mean? I'm just like, Dan's talking now, so see you later. I gotta go.
It's not fair because I'm also looking for an exit, but that's my problem. I have no exit strategy. Yeah. Whereas you just have to wait for me to take over, and then you can be like, it's not rude if I walk away from Dan. Where I'm like, it is rude now if I walk away from whoever it is here while they're talking. I can't just be like, I'm done with this.
But
I don't care what you have to say anymore.
There have been times, though, that I can comfortably say, and you have to,
yeah,
where it's been like 3 or 4 of us in a circle having a conversation, and it just goes dead. And I sit there and say, okay. I basically bow out. I'm out. See you later.
And I don't, is what you're saying?
That's your... Hey, yeah.
Yeah, I don't sometimes.
You know what I mean? It's my chance. I'm out.
Well, because I don't want to... I don't know. I don't...
want to hurt anybody's feelings? You don't want to...
Maybe, I don't know.
That's fine.
I don't want to be responsible, for the death of a conversation. Maybe that's it. I don't think that's it at all. That sounds totally foreign to me as I said that. But here's what happens, right? More often than not, what the problem is... Especially, okay, if there's a group of us standing around talking, and then we're all pretty much done talking, but then a new person enters, and then they have stuff that they want to say. And they're like, well, I want to share too. And they start including their information. But everybody else is tired of talking now and wants to go. And, yeah, maybe I don't have it in me to be like...
Have you always been like that, though? Like, even when you were, like, high school?
High school, definitely. I don't know. Earlier than that, I'm not entirely sure.
But as far as you can remember, you've always been like that. I
mean, yeah, for a long time, yeah. Because I'd be like, I don't have it in me to basically suggest to this person that
you don't want to talk
that
anymore.
They're not important enough to hear out. That whatever you have doesn't matter, you know. But honestly, okay, well, so here I'm going to give you a situation where it doesn't work out and a situation where it does. All right. Back in my old GPS repair job, right? I used to drive to all these Ameritech garages, and usually it was complete solo work. There's nobody around. There were a few places, like there was a garage in Ann Arbor where this guy, I think his name was Rick, he was the mechanic there, and he worked nights. And
is that when you used to drive that white truck?
Yeah.
The white pickup?
Yep.
Okay.
Before the white pickup, though, I worked for a contractor, and I drove one of his vehicles. And he had a stereo shop and window tinting and all that. He did a bunch of vehicle stuff. And that was his day job. And then he had this GPS contract going on the side. And that was at night. And he would stay at his shop until we, the technicians, got home, or got back to the shop. And then, because he wanted to be there to make sure the vehicles were locked up properly, because he was real anal retentive that way. And so there was this one night, I had like 3 vehicles to go work on in Ann Arbor. I drove down there, and what did he have? I don't know, whatever. His vehicles, they were vans. Like, it was a Caravan, Dodge Caravan. Doesn't matter. But that's what it was. I drove down, got to the garage. In that garage, you kind of had to check in with the mechanic, and he would give you the keys, and then you would go get the vehicles. And Rick, the mechanic, starts talking to me, and every time I was down there, it was like he just talked forever. Like this guy, you know, I'm guessing he had nobody else to talk to. And this one night, he literally talked to me for 3 hours. More than enough time for me to complete my work and be heading home. Right?
And you sat there and listened.
I stood there and listened to him. And talked to him and engaged him.
Right.
Because at the same time, while I had work to do, but he clearly needed somebody to talk to. And
was it?
And it was interesting enough.
Deep conversation, or?
Sort of. I wouldn't say it was super deep. Like, nothing he said was groundbreaking. You know, nothing he said changed my life. I don't remember.
Personal, though?
Yeah, it was about, you know, he's talking about himself. You know, like, that's everybody's favorite topic, whether they know it or not, you know? Like,
oh, yeah, they want it, yeah.
Yeah, what's going on with me? What am I doing? Well, now I want to tell you about it.
What do you think about it?
And, what do you think that's interesting? Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, sort of. Enough that I'll stand here. I guess. Uh-huh. And so I get a phone call from my boss after like 2.5 hours. And he's like, hey, dude. Like, he's always, dude, what's going on? And he's like, hey, dude, you coming back yet? Or are you on the way back or what? What's going on? And I'm like, yeah, this one's a real head scratcher. I'm working on it. I don't know what's happening yet. Like, I can't figure out what the problem is. And I got held up somehow, and I don't know what happened. It's all a blur. I don't know. Like, I can't explain away these 2.5 hours, right? And I tell Rick, I'm like, hey, man, I gotta get to work here. I gotta get these done and get out of here. My boss is looking for me, and I gotta go. And he's like, yeah, okay, all right. So anyway, what I'm saying is, I'm like,
yeah.
And like, especially those are the worst for me, right? When I said I'm done, and they don't accept it, then I don't know what to do. I already said I can't talk anymore, and they keep talking. I can't, and I see other people like you. You're like, well, I gotta go, and somebody's like, yeah, well, and you're like, yep, see ya, and you walk away, and I'm like, that's awesome. I can't do it. Now, the alternative, like when I used to go to the Big B over here all the time, you know, I was genuinely interested in their lives, the baristas and the broistas, as they call themselves, right? It's funny to me if you know them. Well, you wouldn't, because you wouldn't talk to them. But I do. And there came a point wherein I pretty much could have no money to my name and know that it was okay for me to go in there and order a coffee. And that was awesome. And all I could attribute it to, I'm like, at first I'm like, why are they just giving me coffee?
Because you were personable.
And then I realized it was because, and it wasn't just because I talked to them. It couldn't be just chatting with them because people chatted with them.
Because you were personable.
Personable, but I want to say that it really mattered that I was, and I say this, genuinely interested in there, and it's apparently apparent.
Which contradicts something you said to me.
What's that?
By the way. Because I sat there, I've talked to you about...
I'm not always genuinely interested, but those guys I was.
Okay. I've talked about you many, many, many times. How I hate how I'm unable to, like, connect with people and conversate with people and stuff like that. Like, hold on a conversation where I admire it about you. We've had these conversations before. And you told me the difference between me and you is that I sit there and I actually, when I have a conversation with somebody or when I talk to somebody, I'm genuinely asking them about themselves. Where you, on the other hand, are basically just...
That's true. I have said that.
Yes.
Well, if I'm wrong, one way or the other.
Because I do that. I don't know any... I don't know any other way. And this is the thing I don't like about it's one of the things I don't like about myself. I don't know how to engage anybody unless I genuinely am interested in knowing about them.
Yeah.
Like, hey, like my first conversation is like, you know, like, how you doing? Or, which is anybody's introduction. Or I actually ask them about their lives and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And that's just, I guess... Yeah, because, I mean, I guess it's a harsh... For me, the thing about it, it's a harsh way to approach somebody.
Maybe not harsh, but blunt.
Yeah, it's so... To approach somebody so personable, like, right off the bat. I get that, but that's the only way I know, because when I do talk to somebody, I genuinely want to know stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I have a very, very close circle of friends. Yeah. And they know me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to give that out to anybody. So for me to give myself out to anybody else, it's almost like I want something back. I'm going to tell you, if we're going to have a relationship, it's like
even if you're just getting me some coffee.
No, I mean I've had those relationships where I've I shouldn't call them relationships, where I've met people and I'm like, I'm genuinely interested in you as a person. I think you're very cool. I think you're very interesting, and start telling them about myself, and I want to learn. I want to know more about you. Mm-hmm. And I'm like just giving. I'm asking, and I'm getting nothing. It's like, well, what's the freaking point of this? That's not a.
Yeah. That's a new person that you've just met.
No.
Well, that's over time, even.
Right.
Interesting. Okay.
And it's still over time. It's like I'm getting, I guess it annoys me.
Yeah. All right. I think I've just figured out what it is. I think maybe what it is I don't know. This is all kind of coming together right now. Take for instance, if I go into the coffee shop, there's somebody new behind the counter, right? And they'll be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, good. How you doing?" And like, They'll be like, "Yeah, you getting what do you want?" And then while they're doing the card, everything, I'll be like, "Having a good day? Everything going all right?" I don't know. I bring it in light, and then let them supply the seeds of a conversation. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, well, I don't know. This one guy was giving me a hard time. Yeah, that's cool." And I'm like, and then that's how it builds at first, and then eventually, and I mean, I don't always remember a lot of the conversation later, but if something sticks out, then because this is for me like the same thing as like trying to remember somebody's name after the first time you met them, right? Like in the past, I've been horrible about that, and I'm still pretty bad at it.
I can never do that.
Yeah, there are times though where I go in these phases where I'm like, I gotta get better at that, and so I'll consciously, when somebody is talking to me and tells me their name, like, because look, right, like my first the first job I ever had that was that my mom didn't get me, right, was working at Chi-Chi's and waiting tables, and I didn't make an effort to remember people's names very much. There were a few people I definitely remembered because I interacted with them a lot.
The people you worked with, or
the people I worked with?
Okay.
And so now, if I think back to those times, because I can't remember their names, everything else about them ends up disappearing as well.
That's true.
And so I can barely remember any of my time there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was kind of like a year later. I'm like, man, who was that person? And then people that I know that knew people there talk about them, and I'm like, I have no idea who you're talking about. And so I realized there was a value in trying to remember people's names. Maybe even you'll never see them again, but make the effort at first in case you do, And so I'll go in these phases where I'll, like, repeat the name back to myself, when I've met somebody. Mm-hmm. I don't like to do the whole, like, hey, I'm Dan. What's your name? They're like, I'm Bill. And I'm like, hey, Bill, how you doing, Bill? What's up, Bill? But then I'm also frustrated by the fact that there are people I know I've only told them my name once, and I see them 6 months later, and they're like, what's up, Dan? And I'm like, hey.
Hey, you.
And then I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I recognize you. Are we at the same place that I saw you the only time I've seen you? And I don't know,
Yeah.
And that's when I'm not doing that, when I'm not making an effort to remember. And so when I think I'm going to go to a place regularly, though, then I think about it, and I'm like, okay, like the coffee shop around the corner. I'm like, I'm going to be going there a lot,
Yeah.
And then what ends up happening is I apparently, unbeknownst to me, I'm one of the people who they end up caring about because I seem to care about them.
And I admire that. See, I admire that. Cause like
I say seem to care about, I do care about them on some level. I don't care about them as much as I care about, like, you.
Right.
Because you're a friend that I actually go out of my way to see. As opposed to a friend of convenience who happens to, like, an acquaintance, basically.
Right, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. All right.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean, I admire. I mean,
It's not a play. I'm not.
Yeah. I'm not this, like, cold-hearted
robot.
Yeah, doesn't care. I mean, I
don't think you are.
I am like
you're a passionate man.
Yeah, I want to. My thing is, I want to know everybody. I want everybody to know me. I just don't know how to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, and I end up and the result of that is, I get bitter about myself. Like, I sit there like, how come they don't remember me? Like, basically what you're saying. Like, how come they don't remember me? Well, I didn't go out of my way like you did, to interact with them. Yeah. So what should I be pissed about?
Yeah, and I guess
what do you call that? There's a psychological word for that, but like I put my annoyance out on them when it's actually on me.
Not hate, but yeah, annoyance. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Project.
Yes. Yeah, so I project my hate, annoyance, whatever you want to call it, out on them, blaming them rather than it being my fault. Because I'm not the one. It's not their fault. I do that all the time.
Do you?
All the time.
I mean, I think everybody does.
Even with my close friends.
You projecting on me right now?
All the time. With everybody.
You need to back off with that projection, all right?
That's what I do.
I don't appreciate it.
I hate it about myself, but I mean...
But then you hate that.
Exactly. It's a vicious circle. It's a vicious cycle. I hate it.
I don't know. I mean, this is for me. It's just something I do now. I don't know when it started. I couldn't tell you really. I think there was a point in my life when I was where I considered myself kind of a shy person. You didn't know me then.
Okay.
That was a long time ago. I was uncomfortable in situations a lot. Whereas now I embrace that discomfort because it happens sometimes. I was talking to somebody last night about how I'll find myself in an awkward position, and then in an effort to make it no longer be awkward, make it more awkward by talking about how awkward it is, basically. It's very like Woody Allen-esque when it happens. I'm like, gee, no, but what I was trying to say is that, well, you know, there are levels, and you know, and like, and it becomes, it just falls apart around me, and then you know,
turns into Kramer.
yeah, and then you know, hopefully they forgive me and move on and forget that little lapse, you know.
Brilliant, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
What you just said.
Yeah.
How it'll collapse around that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. See, I can't do that. I can't give myself the like I've it's crossed my mind so many times to sit there and say, you know what? Who gives a crap? Just throw yourself out there.
Yeah.
But but I have this in my mind of all these people that do that annoy me so much, that are so unreal. Like, I'm not saying you're unreal. I'm just saying there's people out there that that are unreal. Like, they're totally phony 100% of the time.
And in fact, we were talking about somebody like that earlier today.
Exactly, right.
Pre-recorded.
Right. Who just totally put on a front.
Yeah. What did
or a facade, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
What did I say? I said, this person... I said why that person is able to do that and why that person is able to fool people is because
they genuinely
they don't care.
Genuinely.
They genuinely don't care
about the people around them.
Right. And I said that there is a confidence that comes with not caring.
Right. Like you got nothing to lose.
You have nothing to lose if you don't care what happens. And so that person is able to come across like this
confident,
personable person.
Right.
When in fact, if you were to ask them tomorrow, like, hey, what did we talk about yesterday? They'd be like, and that might be the first time you saw them being a real person.
Right.
But since that never comes up, you know, that person gets to go on keeping their disguise. I'm glad we got to bring that back up, actually, because I thought that was... I was actually very proud of us for working that one through.
Yeah, that was a good...
Yeah, I'll take the credit for that. That was all me.
It was.
Was it?
Yeah.
All right. It was
totally.
Well, because you were talking about it, though, in a way where I was finally... Because I've pondered this in the past. Why did people... okay, my freshman year of college, there was this guy that I met him and just thought he was completely full of crap. He was a fake person. And they're like me and like a handful of other people who saw him for the BS that he was, right? And then everybody else on campus thought he was awesome. Like awesome. Like 90s awesome, which is awesomer than, you know what I mean? And we were all dumbfounded by like, he's fake. He's a lie, you know? And like, and I had never put my finger on it like I did earlier when we were talking until I realized what it was, which we already talked about, but so whatever. But something about the way you were talking about it finally all clicked, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to listen to this later and realize that I say I was like a lot, probably, aren't I? So, that's stupid. But, it's like every year or two in my life, I've come across somebody like that who ends up being around, and I consider them, they don't know it, but I consider them a rival of some kind. Where I'm like, I agree. People around me to realize what a piece you are, you know? And, of course, when you're one of the few who are aware, nobody else sees it, and when you say stuff, then you just sound petty. You know what I mean? Because here's how it works. There's guys like this, and they can more easily convince women about what they are. And then there's women like that who can more easily convince guys of what they want them to think they are, right? You know what I mean? There's a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of people, like when people talk about, oh yeah, anybody with a British accent, they automatically, you assume they're really smart. I mean, I don't. I'm like, I listen to the actual words they say. And I'm like, well, your accent is different, but you're an idiot.
I love the British accent, though.
I do like it, too. But I've listened to a person with a British accent.
Yeah, I agree.
Who's total crap, you know? And so anyway, what's on your mind?
We're going to be looking forward to having some guests on here.
We are going to be looking forward to having some guests. We have a couple of volunteers already.
Well, yeah, and how we're going to do it, I'm not actually sure.
I don't know, yeah. But, yeah, as I said to those people via Facebook...
How will we do that, anyway? Is that going to be like a...
I don't know. I'll talk to... What?
Like a...
They'll come in and somehow record that audio signal.
So it'll be like
audio. The audio.
So it'll be like a phone conversation sort of thing, or will it be like a... What do you call it?
It's like a video chat.
Video chat. That's what I meant.
Yeah. Like, look, when I was talking to Bakken, he does This Week in Beer, which you can find by going to thisweekinbeer.com, and they talk about new beers and stuff somewhat weekly, at least, and whatever. Anyway, he was showing me his whole setup, and they've got. He said he knew he had a way of like getting somebody in over like Skype.
Skype. Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. And getting.
Well, I mean, that'll pick. I mean, the mic will pick up.
I think that it's probably more of a direct feed into whatever.
Right.
I'm assuming, because that's horrible. I mean, I could put a mic up against anything and get the sound.
I'm just...
So, we'll talk to Mr. Christopher Bakken.
Just throwing stuff out there.
And we'll figure out how to do that so that we can get some of our West Coast guests over here.
That's right.
And
maybe one of these days I'll get some East Coast out in here as well.
Who do you got on the East Coast?
I'll get my nephew in on it. And,
all right, there we go. All right.
My brother-in-law, maybe.
I mean, I don't know them, but sure.
Well, we'll get...
I'm just kidding.
Well,
and then
we'll get my nephew from Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Which is,
amazing guitar player, right?
Exactly. We'll get my brother-in-law from New York, who is
he's
producer, guitar player, writer,
really?
Piano player, everything. He does it all. He does it all.
Does he have an accent too?
He has a bit of
That alone is going to be fun.
I don't really hear it because I'm used to it, but
yeah, but you say yesterday.
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't think he does.
But you're really like East Coast.
And
I enjoy it a lot.
I'm the East Coast. I'm the border. Yeah.
That's like pretty much the one.
But he has a lot of. He's he'll like say Boston, like where we say Boston. Boston.
You say Boston. He's like Boston. I'm like Boston.
Stuff like that.
Wait, how do I say it? Hold on. Boston.
But anyways, he knows everything about everything, and he's huge. It'll be great. It'll be great to have him on with you. Just talk about the Beatles alone.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he's gonna.
He was at the Beatles in Shea Stadium.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, so then he's gonna expose me for how I don't know that much about the Beatles after all.
I think it would be a great conversation.
I'll learn a lot. It sounds like.
He's great. He's a great guy.
I'm down. I mean, I know some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, yeah, I read about that, and he was like, I was there.
That's right.
And I'll be like,
yeah.
And then I'll scream like a little girl at a Beatles concert.
Yeah, I'll get him on here, no problem. And my nephew.
Wicked fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got that to look forward to. We'll definitely get Crissy and Sergio in at some point.
We'll try and get some locals on here, like
we definitely get look
Wozny.
We will need at least another microphone there.
For Wozny, yeah.
Yeah, because that'll be too much. We'll all be crammed in here and feeling uncomfortable. Matt who? Luttermoser?
Luttermoser, yeah.
Matt Luttermoser. He'll be interesting. He'll talk to us about fraternity life. And, girls or something.
I don't know that many interesting women, but...
Whoa! I know many interesting women. I think all of them are very interesting. That's not true, but some of them are. We got some people in mind. that none of them have agreed to do it yet.
But they will.
But they will. What choice do they have? So unfriend them on Facebook if they say no. All right. Well, so yeah, you've been listening to the mindset of Dan and Dave.
That's right. Peace.